Everyone, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So my name is Lauren Dixon. I work with the Central Arkansas Library System as a small business programmer. I've started this monthly series where I interview small business owners to get their insight on how their experiences of owning small businesses within Little Rock and the surrounding areas have gone, and maybe offer some advice to any potential new small business owners. So today's presenter is going to be Shelley Green. Shelley, if you want to go ahead and turn your mic and camera on, I can get this started. Oh, there we go.
Hello, good morning.
How are you doing today?
Great, thank you for inviting me.
Yes, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you taking your time out of your day to do this with us.
My pleasure.
Okay, so let's just jump right in. How did you get your idea or concept to open the Green Corner store?
I was giving classes on environmental education and also working as a freelancer, but with a background in retail. When I moved to Little Rock, people were asking me for recommendations about the products that I was telling them about that I used and was advocating for. And there didn't seem to be a retail space that was presenting this collection of goods. And it was growing and growing as we continued. People got more and more interested in the environment. So I decided to marry together my background in retail with an educational platform store that would help people to discover these things.
Where did you serve on those educational boards? Where did you help educate people about environmental sustainability?
They were small group discussions that were hosted by nonprofit organizations or corporations to try and teach their employees. They might have had a mission surrounding sustainability or the environment, and people could also sign up as individuals. So we hosted them at Heifer International and other places around, in libraries around the community. When I opened my store, after doing that for a couple of years, we had people from Northwest Arkansas, from Hot Springs, various people hosting the classes, and we brought them to about 800 people. The material, the curriculum, was actually provided by the Northwest Earth Institute that was centered in Portland, Oregon, but it was reaching out to other places around the country.
And what would you, you had mentioned like sustainability initiatives. How would you, for people who might not, who are in the audience, who might not necessarily know all about like eco-sustainability, how would you describe what sustainability is regarding the products that you sell or just in general?
Thank you. Well, sustainability is a huge, huge issue. And of course, it's dependent upon what industry you're talking about. It has different benchmarks. But when I got started with sustainability, it was kind of like the three-legged stool. You wanted to make sure that you were doing things correctly for people, all of your stakeholders, where that would be your customers, the greater community, your vendors. You wanted it to be good for the planet. So I watched a really incredible film years and years ago called Blue Vinyl, and it tracked the progress of vinyl blinds and other things that you have in your home made from vinyl, which are not necessarily harmful. But during the manufacturing process, they are very harmful to the communities and the factories and the workers where it's being produced. So you want to take care of the planet, and that means the air, the water, the conserving the resources. And the third leg of the stool is sustainability for profit. But profit is one of the three ways that you make decisions for your business.
What was your mission when you first started the Green Corner store?
What? I'm sorry, what?
Sorry, what was your mission whenever you first started the Green Corner store?
Well, our mission was, it was very intentional where we located, because I wanted a place that could experiment with, could a mom and pop shop in this environment of big box stores and huge chains, could it be viable again? Could it stand and be sustainable? And so I located in an area which had a viable main street in the past, and it was a walkable community. I thought it was important to have multimodal opportunities. We're located right on a bus line. We're in a residential area, so people can take their babies and strollers. They can bike to us. We actually had bike lines added after a few years with the store. So that was very important to me. and also to create a place where people could trust the products that were there. There were so many headlines about products that contained toxins or contained carcinogens that were harmful or thought to be harmful to our health. And I wanted to vet all of those products when I opened my store so that people could come in and get exposed to the things that were safer, were healthier, and also learn something and be just as effective for them.
Right, thanks. So how do you go about your vetting process for the products? Are there certain things that you try to look for and say the ingredients that you avoid?
Yes, definitely. I mean, it depends on whether we're talking about food or personal care products that you're putting on your skin, something you're ingesting, something you're cleaning with in your home. So all of the things that we look at are a little bit different from all of that. But basically, I talked personally with all of these providers, and I kind of aligned myself with other USA companies that were starting up, were more or less small operations that cared about the environment too. So they were doing the right thing, and I made contact with them directly. And I also looked for third-party certification. So it wasn't just me who was vetting everything there, but I went to conferences that were presenting these products that were safer and healthier and better for the environment. And then a lot of nonprofits came on board that really could do certification with organic cotton, certification with organic foods. Environmental working group is another one that, and a lot of consumers are looking at these groups now too, to see which are the best products that do not have these toxins, and they actually rate them. So we carry things that are probably vetted by 10 to 12 nonprofits that have different criteria.
That's amazing. And I think you had mentioned earlier, of course, you have a background in environmental education. How did you get into environmental education?
I was doing consulting for business and public relations, and I picked up a couple of clients that were working in the environment, a nonprofit and also Birmingham Southern you mentioned. And in order to do the best job for them, I had to do a deep dive into what their mission was, what the issues were, how people perceived them. And I just found my passion. I just lit up. It was the thing that I'd never gotten so excited about, to see that people were working on these solutions and there was big mountains to climb, but still I wanted to support the people that were doing that. And so I wanted to just work in that field for the rest of, I think it was kind of aligning your livelihood with your passion, which so many people are trying to do.
I think that's absolutely amazing that you were able to combine something that you're so passionate about and make it a career. You know, you own your own business specifically regarding like environmentally safe products. And I think that's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah,
So
it really
with those,
makes it a joy to come to work every day.
right. How do you advertise your business, your products in your business?
A lot of it is on social media. So we work with Facebook and Instagram, are our two main platforms. A lot of word of mouth, and we will try and get the word out about our business at festivals or doing pop-ups with other people, having them visit us so that they can talk about it as well. I know a lot of our vendors are good proponents of helping to spread the word about our business. We do not a lot of newspapers or radio advertising or television. It's really, it's a little bit pricey for the size business that we are, but we hope to do more of that in the future and help to spread the word. So it is a lot of word of mouth, and that's the best way to get loyal customers too.
I actually think I stop by your shop every once in a while for tea, and I think the very first time that I had ever heard of your business was from one of my coworkers. So I think that's definitely like the best way to go about it. And then with your Facebook and Instagram advertising, how much of an outcome have you seen using those social media sites to advertise your business?
It's been very successful if we stay at it, and it's been more successful at different times according to the way that Facebook and Instagram has moved through the process of growing and developing too. So it's a constant learning process, and I need extra help to be able to manage that. Also, our website, we try and promote our website through those platforms, and we have an email newsletter. So that is a great way where we can talk directly to our customers. And if they follow our email newsletter, we kind of spice it up with some specials just for them that are exclusive for them, but also just encourage them to read it, because we try to put information that's important for them and also about our products and the new things that we have. But I wish we could do a lot more. I mean, we really have so many stories with all the products that we have here and the way that these people started their businesses. And it's fun to share all that. I think that's one of the highlights of what I do, is trying to get the story out there.
Well, I think that's one of the neat things about it. From the few times I've been in your store, it seems like you have a lot of products from other small businesses as well. And so I think it's amazing that your small business is also just kind of communally sharing, like helping them get their products out into a retail space so that they can also become successful. A lot of other small businesses I found aren't willing to do that because people can view them as competition, but I think it's great that you and your business have just welcomed these products in and that you kind of base your business model around them.
Oh, thank you so much. I love the art world, and I love the creativity that young entrepreneurs bring. And a lot of time we mentor them along the path to try and get their products ready for a retail space, which is a little bit different than selling at a farmer's market or a festival or selling on their Etsy shop. And so we try to tell them ways that they can be more successful within the store. But it really expands our mission for sustainability, which is local first. So if we can bring in all the local products and have people select from those first, many times these are things that don't have to travel long distances. So, and we're using our own creative efforts in our own community and making them stronger. And I think from the very first outset too, I wanted a store that valued people. And from working with large corporations, many times the employees are the last ones to get a lot of the benefits. You know, they're just used and worn out. But we wanted a place where our employees were valued, where they had a good environment to work in, but a business that was collaborative and cooperative with other businesses in our community, rather than being seen as competitive. You know, there is plenty of space for everybody, and I think that is important to remember.
I think that's fantastic. With all of the other business owners, small business owners that I've interviewed, very few, like I said, are willing to do that just because of the whole competition mindset. So once again, I think you deserve so much praise for that. As you mentioned, community is very important. And I think downtown Little Rock, some of those areas have been a long withstanding community for small businesses. And I would really like to see that trend continue.
I think here in Soma, we have a unique experience where our entire shopping district supports one another. And you'll hear that from customers that have experienced it. Oh, I was just in this store, I was just in this restaurant, and they told me to come over and check you out. And then we'll do the same. And we try and find things. If we don't have it in the store, well, go down to this store, maybe they'll have it for you today, because we stay kind of abreast of what everybody else has too. So it's a really friendly, cooperative and kind of co-building community.
Right. So what made you, whenever you were first looking into placing the Green Corner store in a physical location, what made you choose Soma? What were the factors? You touched on this a little bit earlier, but what were the driving factors that made you choose that location?
Absolutely. It was an intentional decision, which the experts told me, this is not going to work. You're here too early, because when I located my business here, there wasn't a lot of surrounding businesses to support it. So we didn't have natural foot traffic or people coming by, which is really important for a retail store. You hear the old adage, location, location, location. And I knew it wasn't there yet, but through a personal association with someone that was going to locate on this block, and then knowing my landlord, it was kind of a relationship, that we knew each other. But the other thing that really drew me was I wanted my location to even be representative of what we were trying to do. So instead of being located within a large mall where you're working in a climate conditioned space all day long and you can't look out. My store has natural lighting. That was really important to me. Instead of a strip mall where cars would be pulling up and backing out all throughout the day, I didn't want to have the exhaust come in through my door. You know, it was important for me to have a good, safe space with good clean air in it as well. So that was a big reason, as I mentioned earlier, about being multimodal, so we could support public transportation, so we could do something for bikers so they could pull right up. And a lot of times people bring their bike right inside the store. They don't have their bike chain or something, so they just bring it inside, and we have bike racks outside. And also, it was just like kind of just a personal challenge. You know, can I make this happen where there used to be a thriving enterprise in this neighborhood decades ago? You know, can a mom and pop shop being, you know, one owner, one location, be profitable?
I think you have been very successful. What would you contribute your business's success to?
I think perseverance is a lot of it. You know, we've heard a lot about the word pivot during the pandemic, but being able to evolve, I would kind of look at that as evolving through the changes with business practices, you know, the actual environment in the overall business scene and your customers. I think listening to your customers is one of the most important things you can do in small ways and in big ways. And I was in a class once and I learned, you know, go out and interview the customers you've lost. Why aren't they coming here? So I learned that, you know, 20% of your customers are going to be lost just through attrition throughout a year. You know, maybe, I don't know how accurate that percentage is, but a lot of your customers will either move, they will find different shopping habits, they can't come in because they have a different job, they're traveling or whatever. Their life situation has changed. They're no longer interested in that product classification, perhaps. So there's so many different reasons why you lose customers. So you have to be constantly gaining new customers just to keep at the same level before you even start to think about growing. So you have to learn from your customers and watch the changes and hear what they're suggesting, the new people that are coming in. There's been a big shift in our customers. There's lots more new people coming in because they have time to explore now. They're working from home. They can come out and take a look. Maybe they plan to do so for a while. And also, there's a lot more people taking road trips. So right now, that's really benefiting us because we have so many restaurants around here, and we have local shops that make it important for people to discover and you probably are like this too. If you go and visit a new town, you just don't want to go to the same chains that you have right here in Little Rock. You want to discover what's new and local for that community. That's going to give me a different experience.
Definitely. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I go on road trips not super frequently, but I just always remember thinking, like, I'd rather not stop at a fast food place. I want to stop at a local joint that has a lot of cars outside because, you know, the locals frequent there a lot. They wouldn't be there if they didn't enjoy it. So that means the food has to be good.
Right.
Right. And I want to touch on, you had mentioned getting customer feedback. How do you go about doing that? Aside from, like you said, interviewing the ones who you may have lost as customers, for, you know, future small business owners, how would you recommend you, you know, get customer feedback? What's the best way that you found?
Well, kind of asking and talking to everybody that comes into the store. There's rarely a time that someone doesn't walk out without a purchase or that we haven't engaged with, that we know what they were looking for and it wasn't here. So that's one way to get feedback. Another way is just asking people, especially my regular customers, what have you found that's new? What's your favorite product? They will come in. They'll volunteer information now because they know I'm listening, that they found something, a brand new product on the internet that they think would fit here. We have a product in our store right now that was suggested to us from another vendor that she thought would fit into the store. We also, I think that's some of the main ways that we get feedback from our customers, and just our regular customers just asking, you know, has this worked for you? We want to get feedback, especially if they're buying that item that they hesitated a little bit, they go, oh, well, then they decide I'll go ahead and try it. Well, please let me know how it works for you, because we want to know as we go forward. We might not have had that in stock for a while, or they'll volunteer, oh my gosh, that really was great, and I've got to have that again. Please don't stop carrying it.
So I think at the very beginning, we touched upon what the Green Corner Store's mission is. What are your goals for the store for the future? Are there any things that you'd like to try switching over to, a new business model, maybe anything like that?
I think what we're doing is working right now. I think we're still, near-term goals are still kind of getting things set back to normal the way it was before, with fully trained staff, there's still disruptions in the supply chain. So getting back the products that we know that people want and getting fully stocked again. We're coming into the key fourth quarter we'll be here very soon for retail. So we want to get in a really good position with that. But I am working on expanding the offerings for our online store. That has always been something which I felt we could reach more people in more communities throughout Arkansas, and maybe we'll do something physical in the near future, in the next few years, taking our store to other communities and cities within Arkansas. That's kind of our plan, so that people can know us and become fans and have it there too.
So with your online store, what did you go through a certain service like Squarespace or Wix to create your website? I know there's a lot of discussion within the small business community for people who are for small business owners who are looking to start their own website. What was the website that you used, and do you find that it was user-friendly enough that you think anyone could use it?
I think Square and Shopify have great reputations, and they're used by a lot of businesses, and they're good, easy platforms to use. For a number of reasons, I didn't go that way. My online website is hosted by GoDaddy right now, and they helped me to launch that during the pandemic. You do learn a lot of things about getting a website up and running, and so much more of it, even though you have platforms that are tied together and it's supposed to make it more automatic. I have hundreds of products within the store, and it takes more manual labor really to get it ready. I'm from taking the photography to getting the descriptions correct, to listing things, to double checking on your inventory. And so I haven't had really a team member dedicated to that, but we're going to probably be offering more and more as we go forward, because we're rebuilding it right now this summer. So it should look a little bit new and different. Our entire website is being updated right now.
So what are your responsibilities as the business owner? Can you walk me through like a daily schedule for you, or a weekly?
Sure. Daily is, I try to break down my day, planning out what I need to do that day, and think about all the different elements of the business that maybe they don't need attention that day, but at least I'm reviewing a checklist. Okay, I have to, in a small business, you basically do everything. You don't have, like in a large corporation, you don't have people that specialize, the housekeeping team, the IT team, that's just not there. So if you can't do it in-house, you're paying contractors or doing something outside, and sometimes you do need that specialized help. But there's operational things like, do supplies need to be reordered today? Is there equipment that needs to be serviced? I have to think about scheduling a maintenance or repair job. That's one thing that doesn't happen every day, but I'm just kind of going through my mental checklist. So financials, do I have to pay some bills today? Do I have to balance my checkbook? Do I have to up my forecast for the week on how sales were last week? What did we sell? What needs to be reordered, and get that in the queue? Speaking with vendors, checking in merchandise, perhaps making new orders or researching a new product, figuring out what needs to be communicated to the staff. Do signage or displays need to be changed that day to make them more current? Do, let's see, sweep the floor, clean the bathroom, and maybe talking to my mentors. Do I need to check in with somebody? And then how are we doing with special projects? And special projects, I always kind of put in their own little category. They have a start and stop finish. So they're going to be done at some point in time. And so right now, what do I need to do for the online store? What's next? What needs to be checked? That's my biggest.
In regards to your, oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, in regards to your employees, how many employees do you currently have in store, and do you feel like they kind of help take off some of that load from you, or are they just purely public facing, like helping run the register and things like that?
Well, for people that are starting out, I didn't have an employee for the first 2 years of my business. I did it all myself. That's when I first felt comfortable hiring someone. And we've gone through different periods with different number of employees. At our largest, we had 1 full-time and 4 part-time people. So it's basically like 2 full-time and 1 half-time number of hours per week, that we kind of use multiple people to try and fill that need. But I feel like we're in a big change right now where we are going to be having a staff that is going to be supportive for the front of house for me, so I can begin to concentrate on some of those things to take the business to the next level. I think we we were at that point right before the pandemic, and it's pretty much our sales are getting back to normal now, so it's ready to do that again. So I'm going to be hiring a store manager and a steady part-time person, like 25 hours a week. So it'll be a full-time and a half-time, and then the rest of the people will fill in on weekends and do events for us, and promotional events they'll come out for.
Right. And then with your business, if you could start your business all over again, what is one thing that you wish you would have known beforehand?
Be more prepared before you pull the lever on paying overhead for your rent, for your inventory, for advertising. I think that timing is really important. And I've learned that not only from my own experience, but I've watched what some other businesses have done where they've done huge amount of marketing, expensive marketing, before they opened without even a date that was published of when they would be open. So to me, that's kind of wasted marketing dollars. People couldn't react to the excitement that they were bringing into the marketplace. And I think that that's one thing that I would definitely do differently, is do a little bit more preparing and planning before you get so excited you want to just open the doors.
And then with managing financials, I know that that can be a difficult topic for some small businesses because small business taxes can be very tricky. How do you manage your finances? Do you use websites like QuickBooks, or do you just have your own accountant on hand that you utilize their services for?
That's a good question. And that kind of leads me to a piece of advice for everyone is identify your strengths and weaknesses and make sure that you have either a freelance professional or a staff member to help you with those areas that you're not good at. But you also need to know the ins and outs of every aspect of your business, and that includes financials. So a lot of people kind of glaze over with that. I like doing that. I like knowing in real time where the business is. So I use QuickBooks for daily in and out. I used it for years as just kind of a checkbook that was on my computer, but I've learned so many more things that QuickBooks can do for you. And then I marry that with my inventory because that tells me a lot about my financials. But I have an accountant, a CPA, so you need a really good accountant that is going to keep you on track. Some things like paying sales tax or doing quarterly reports on your payroll. There's many things that you just have to do. That's one thing you cannot let slide in your business. But I'm pretty independent with it. I use my accountant maybe a couple of times a year. I meet with her, or I get a snag in QuickBooks and I need her to fix it for me. But other than that, really, she's just checking in with me on my quarterly reports, making sure I've done them, because QuickBooks automates that pretty well. And I subscribe to the payroll service for QuickBooks, which has been really smooth, and they're very supportive when I have a question. So she just does my year-end taxes.
Okay. So that's another thing I was going to ask, is a lot of times small business owners kind of have a dilemma of needing an accountant, but also not wanting to necessarily, shell out the money for one. So would you say that having a CPA on, I guess, payroll, use her services once or twice a year, would you say that that's something important for most small businesses?
Yeah, I would definitely check into the most economical things that you would need, and you can just do a comparison on different costs. I think that you need some professional aspect of it, unless you were an accountant yourself in a previous life. Yes.
And then, so if you had one piece of advice just for anyone just starting out their business, aside from, try to be as prepared as possible, what would that be?
I would say embark on this with your passion and listen to everybody, whether it be family members or friends or other people in the business. But first and foremost is your inner compass. People say, listen to your gut. You know what's going to be good for the next step for your business. You will, if you've done your market research and you are prepared, jump in, dive in, and then keep listening to those people, but don't take everyone's advice. That sometimes they're being too kind to you, sometimes they're being too harsh with you or limiting you. You really have to think about, what do I want my business to do, and be ready to retract from that if it's a bad decision. But do what you think you need to do to make it successful, and continue to learn on your own. I think one of the things that I try and do is outreach all the time, go to committee groups or clubs or meetings or conferences that I've never been to before, to be able to get a new view on things, to listen to other people's perspective, and realize that this whole experience of owning a business is helping you grow as an individual too. So a lot of times when you get your buttons pushed, and maybe you didn't like the way you reacted to something, it might be telling you something. I need to get a little bit more confident in that area, or I need to learn how to respond as a better leader with more compassion, with more, pause, and then go back to the situation when you're calmed down.
Right. And then, so I'm going to go ahead and that was the end of my questions. And so I'm going to go ahead and open up for audience questions. We do already have 3. So I'll just go ahead and get into those. So what is your favorite product as the business owner? In your store, it looks like you've got your store background. What is your favorite product?
Oh gosh, that's a hard question. I can tell you what my
we can do like top 5.
I can tell you my very first product that I like to recommend of people going on a more natural path for their health is change your deodorant. My natural deodorants, especially the rock crystal that I discovered, is my favorite. And people have it, sometimes they have to try different brands to find the thing that works the best for them, because they're not an antiperspirant, but you can find a product that works for you. They are efficient and it's healthier for you. So that was one of the things that I thought was just really key for people. Your deodorant is being applied, it's being absorbed into your skin, it's very close to your lymph nodes, and that's where, that's a really important thing to do for your health. All of our teas, I like drinking our Daydreamer tea. It's not too sweet, it's very calming, it's an herbal tea, and that's one of my favorites right now, along with our Moroccan mint. And our cleaning products. We have a full line of cleaning products by Better Life and also Dr. Bronner's, but I love them because they are efficient. They smell good without having chemical fragrance added to them. And your indoor pollution is something that, again, can be worse than outdoor pollution. And you're constantly being exposed to it through the air vents in your air conditioning and your heating unit. It's landing on your rug where your dog rubs, and then you're snuggling with your dog or the toddler. So our cleaning products are one of my favorites.
And thank you for sharing that. And then somebody also, you had mentioned your T-bar. Somebody asked, would it be possible for you to tell them a little bit more about your T-bar and how you got into also having a T-bar in your store?
Yes. From the very first year that I was here, I had somebody doing a little outpost in the store with loose leaf teas, and we did classes on herbal teas and how they could, how they could be used for your health. And so tea is such an exciting classification because it's a great way to just have a conversation, share a cup of tea with a friend and have a conversation. There's functional teas that can help you go to sleep, that can be good for your skin, so many different things for your digestion. And so we have those as well, just lots of different flavors to enjoy. We make over 35 different kinds of teas that are sourced and blended in the Savoy Tea Lab in Fayetteville. It's a local company, and they're great straight. We can make lattes with them. We have kombucha on tap from a local person, Tea Berry. And all of that provides a full beverage service, which is really nice to be able to have in the store. And as their tea is brewed, people can look around and enjoy it.
And then I do think you had touched on this earlier, but this person might have missed the first part. What is it about your store that makes it eco-friendly and the products that you sell sustainable?
Good. Okay. We carry a lot of local products that we talked about. In fact, we have dozens and dozens of makers with local products, which makes it environmentally friendly because it's been made here and it doesn't have to be transported a long distance, which helps with our emissions and greenhouse gases. Anything that we source from, and we consider Arkansas our local terrain, anything that we source geographically outside of that, we ask those vendors to meet a higher bar of being eco-friendly. So it could be something that you need to live a more natural, green living lifestyle, like plastic-free products. We have a refill station with our cleaning products. That makes it that conserves on resources for the environment. Things that are made safely without using chemicals and toxins that are in it. We try to vet everything so that is out of the product. Food that would have artificial colorings that isn't needed for the food. Maybe we use natural preservatives in foods instead of artificial ones. So it's healthier, it's more clean eating that way. And then just the manufacturing process so that the plants where they're coming from are not exuding emissions and creating dangerous for the citizens that live around there or the workers themselves. So we want everything to be eco-friendly in many, many different aspects, coming from a lot of different directions.
And it looks like we've got one last question, and that question is, they haven't had a chance to visit your store just yet. Can you give them like a general list of the different products that you have within your store?
Sure. The product classifications that we have are our tea bar, as we just talked about. Our food and beverage department is sort of like a little pantry. We don't have a great deal of fresh things, although we do have some highlight vendors that are made in Arkansas in our refrigerator. And we have a large personal care section. We have a wellness section. We have local artisans that exhibit and bring consignment things to us, like greeting cards, pottery, functional pottery, jewelry, a lot of local jewelry that's made. And we have kids and baby things. That's another environmental thing. We have green toys, which has been made from rescued milk bottles, plastic milk bottles, and that makes their really clean goods that kids could even chew on them and not be damaged by paint. It's all infused, and they actually have a line that you can go and find out where everything is certified for every carton that comes in. It's really great, and it also can be sanitized. It can go in your dishwasher, so it's great for daycare or something like that. So we have the baby department. We specialize in a lot of local gifts, And so we try to find things that if you want to come Christmas shopping or for a special occasion for a birthday or wedding or something, we'll have something for you. Right now we're doing a collaboration with Wordsworth Books. They're an independent bookstore in Little Rock, and every month they refresh our books with children's books, with Arkansas-centric books, with local authors, and food and cookbooks. So it's been fun.
Yeah, that sounds absolutely amazing. I honestly probably want to stop by on my lunch to get more tea. So I think we covered all of the questions, and we're getting close to time. So
Tomorrow,
I think
Lauren, remember we're closed on Mondays, so anyone can come from Tuesday through Sunday.
Tragic. Okay, well then I'll be tomorrow on my lunch. Okay. Well, yeah, thank you so much for doing this program. We at CALS, like I said, really appreciate the time that you've taken out of your day to give us your whole business expertise and tell us a little bit more about your business. I hope everyone has a great day. Shelley, once again, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.